All right.
Yeah.
Sir,
I don't have mine.
huh?
I don't have mine.
You don't have
your stuff and have messed up at small.
Yeah. Take one of these. If you don't have one of these, if you're new, take one. If you have one already, don't take one. Take one, pass them down. Take one, pass them down. Okay, I want you to listen up here. All right. Did y'all miss me yesterday?
Yeah.
Now, this is a program of rigorous honesty now. Did you?
Yes, sir.
I bet you did. All right. If you've been here a week or less, today, a lot of stuff we talk about is probably going to go right over your head. Don't sweat it. Don't be back around on this stuff again. How many of y'all were in here when we put the 4th step and the 5th step on the board? Keep your hand up for me. Okay. What we tried to teach you doing that 4th and 5th step was how to do an effective step 10. Now, we're going to talk on some step 10 today. Now, this, what you have in front of you that we handed out to you, this is a spot check step 10 inventory sheet. Now, the first 7, 8, 9 months I was sober, I used this every day. This has become grooved up here. So guess what I don't need anymore? Now, once this becomes grooved up here, what it says is the time that it takes to do it won't be missed. What that means is when this gets up here, you've effectively had a spiritual awakening or personality change. Now, most of y'all who leave here never do this. So this never gets grooved up here, and you never really have personality change. You just are sober, and you don't stay that way very long. Now, how many times have you been here? Have you ever did this? How many times have you ever did this? No. Dude, but when y'all come here and we tell you what to do and you don't do it, you get loaded and you say, that AA shit doesn't work. Well, how would you know? Since you never do what we say. Now, I want you to turn your big book to page 59. Didn't get one of these step 10 sheets. Read step 11. Read it loud. Page 59. Read step 11. Read step 11.
Walk through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God.
Now, it says sought through prayer and it doesn't say prayer and medication. It says prayer and
Meditation.
to do what? Improve your conscious contact with God. Now, if I'm going to improve it, It implies I've already got it. I can't improve something I don't have. Now, where do I make conscious contact with God? Where do I do that? Not that's not a step. Do you know where we make conscious contact with God? No. You've already made it. It says you have to improve on it with prayer and meditation. Where? Well, y'all ain't got many left. Look, I make conscious contact in step 10. Once I make it, I improve on it and then I got a message to carry to other people. Now, you can't improve on something you've never made. Look, I have a lot of people come up to me and say, man, I'm struggling with prayer and meditation. And I say, I don't think you're struggling with step 11. I think you're struggling with 10. Because you never made. Now, you have to listen today, Linda. Step 10 is a repracticing of steps 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now, step 1, we're going to tell you, what's your first name? What are you using?
Alcohol.
Liquid?
Yeah.
What kind?
Ice proof whiskey about that.
Okay. Every time you put the first one in your body, do you set something off physically in your body called? Yeah. Huh?
Okay.
No, I'm asking you, do you?
Yeah.
How do you know? You don't, do you? I know.
Yeah.
Look, this is how you know. If you put that in your body and you have that, it will produce a physical craving for another one. Does that happen to you? What are you using? How? I bet you are. Every time that you snort the first little bit, do you set that off? And does your body say more? And do you end up on one of these every time? How many of y'all come in here, we tell you what the damn problem is, we tell you about this allergy, and then we tell you the reason when you come up off a spree and sing the Alcoholics National Anthem, how many times have you said, I'm done? 1,000. How many times? How many times? So when you come down here and you try to live in your own skin sober, do you start to get irritable? Do you start to get restless? Start to get discontented? And does this thing start working on you then? And does it tell you that you need some relief? Now, when you put the first one in, do you get relief? Yeah, hell yeah. Now, if you could stop right there, we wouldn't be talking. But since you have this allergy, every time you put one in, you set off and you back off to the races again. Now, do you keep doing this? Do you quit down here, build up, come here and start? Go through all this shit, quit, build up, start, quit, blah, 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 blah. And it keeps getting worse. Now, why do you keep putting the first one in? Now, if you won't, we're going to help you get rid of that. So you won't. Now, if you have this obsession of the mind, and you couple it with an allergy of the body, those two things have rendered you. Now, Step 2 tells you the solution to that problem. The solution is getting all involved in the fellowship in Alcoholics Anonymous and actually doing the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, the fellowship is going to meetings, and in these meetings, I'm going to get a lot of support. Now, the program of AA, the steps are what actually changed me and where I'm going to find the directions for the steps are in the first 103 pages of the big book. Now, if I put these together, I'm going to tap into some. Now, we give you, we tell you, you got to decide which one do you want more. Now, hopefully you came here because you don't want no more of this shit. You want some of this action. And if you didn't come here for that, this won't work again. So what that means is you have to start doing some shit you really don't. Like getting your ass up and coming to. Yeah. Now, how many of y'all have tried this before? How many of y'all get out and you do one part of it? You go to meetings, but when it comes to this, you don't want nothing to do with that. You want to take the easier, softer way. It won't work. Now, step 3, you're going to decide. You want to stay here or you want to come join us? Now, if you want to come join us and you want to go from here to here and carry out step 3, you have to take some action steps. And that is, now, this is the meat of the program. If somebody takes 4 through 9, guess what it taps them into? Now, once I tap into that power in 4 through, I have to continue 10 every day. And step 10 is a repracticing of. Now, no, we condensed it real quick here today. So some of y'all are going, holy shit, what did he say? Don't sweat it. I'm telling you, don't sweat it. Now, you people in the back, you got to make sure you're listening today. Step 10 is 4 through, all balled up into, we just call it 10 now. Now, step 10 says, continue. Now, for me to continue to do something, it implies I already did it. Now, what did I already do? Now, every day for the last 23 years, I've done. So what I'm doing every day is repracticing. Now, what does 4 through 9 tap me into? So every time that I do 10, which is 4 through 9, I tap into that deeper and deeper and deeper. And I get so tapped in that nothing that life throws me can shake me. How many of y'all, the least little thing that happens, you fold like a house of cards? And this is how you fold. Boom. That's how you fold. Or, I know, me either. Now, we're going to be talking on step 10. Now, you got to listen right here. When I do 4 through 9, what do I flow into? Now, why is that? Because when I do 4 through 9, this is what it gets out of the way. Self. And when self's out the way, I flow into. Now, how many of y'all were in here when we put the examples on the board of the 4th and 5th step? Now, who put you put an example? You did. Who else? Okay. Look, do not say what you think I want you to say. I want you to tell the truth for once. When you put yours up here, did it help you see things differently? You? Now, let's say you did that process for the rest of your life. Would you grow by leaps and bounds every day? Yeah. And every day you would change a little bit, you would grow. Most of y'all come in here for 30 days, 40 days, whatever how many days it is. You're doing this. And you're doing this because you're going to, while you're here, you're doing, and you're working with. So guess what you're doing? You get ready to leave. You're feeling so good. You think, I've got it. And you stop right there. Now, do you stay right there? Or do you automatically start dying? Look, one of the biggest mistakes y'all make, when you leave here, you're right there. You're right there. If you would do what we say, you'd knock the damn door wide open, and this would go. And that's what he was telling me is going to happen. But most of y'all, when it comes to this, you go, I'm not going to do that because I feel good now and I'm sober. Now, there are 2 types of step 10 inventories. There is a spot check. That's taken every time in the day when I find myself getting tangled up. Then there is the day's end. Now, what we're going to talk about today is the spot check. Now, the spot check, it tells me any time of the day when I find myself getting tangled up, I do it. Now, what tangles me up? Resentments, guilt and remorse for harms done, and fear. So anytime one of them come up, I spot check it. Right in. Now, if I'm doing that all through the day, when it comes time to do the day's end, there shouldn't be that much to do, huh? Now, the day's end is going to tie in with the first thing they tell me to do in 11. 10, 11, and 12 all intertwined. And you cannot do one effectively without the other 2. That is done. Now, I want you to turn your big book. That's that thing you forgot. To page 84. Now, look, you really didn't think this was going to be a walk in the park for you, did you? Okay, good. And don't mention my name again, because it will do you no good here. I know, because I told them. All right, page 84. The middle of the page. Start reading. Read it loud. Now, what they just told you was the step 9 promises. Now, step 9 promises are great. They're good. Step 10 promises will blow 9s out the water. Go.
They're being-
Oh, read it loud.
They are being fulfilled on us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work.
Okay, go.
This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal.
Okay, now it says this thought brings us to step 10, which suggests, now, if you were 50,000 feet up in an airplane and you were fixing to jump out and you had a parachute on, what do they suggest you do? Pull the fucking ripcord. And if you don't, you're going to end up flat as a pancake. Now, if you don't do step 10, which they're suggesting to you to do, you're going to end up flat as a pancake. Now, the guy who wrote the big book, Bill Wilson, who had a lot of help, but he picked up the pen and he put pen to paper. You got to understand Bill's writing style. One of his writing styles was he did not like to use the same word twice. People up on the East Coast, they call them Yankees. They thought if you used the same word over and over, it made you sound dumb. So Bill uses a bunch of different words that mean same thing. I'll give you an example. When he talks about God, he uses terms like higher power, creative intelligence, czar of the heavens, spirit of the universe. All different words that mean God. Now, Bill's fixing to start talking about step 10. He's going to use one word about 5 times. And it like to damn near killed him to do it. But he's trying to make a point. Now, I want you to see if you can pick up on what word that is. Now, I want you to start again in the middle of the page. This step brings us to step 10. Go.
This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue.
Wait, what word? Continue. Okay? I want you to see how many times he uses this word. Go. No, it don't say personal inventory. It says everybody else's. How many of y'all in here are excellent at taking everybody else's damn inventory? Can you spot shit out somebody else like that? But you blind as a bat when it comes to looking at your own shit, ain't you? Look, I don't need to learn how to take everybody else's inventory. I burn up a lot of energy foolishly trying to do that. You don't need any help doing that. You got that. You are excellent at that. What you don't know how to do is take personal inventory. Okay, go.
Continue.
What? What?
Continue.
What? There's that word again. Now, how many times is that?
2.
Now, you're looking at somebody who does not like to use the same word. So what do you think he's trying to get across to you? Because I look at it like this. This is what he's trying to get across to me. This is what he's telling. Hey, dumbass. Continue. Go.
Set right any new mistakes as we go along.
Now, what they're telling me is I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna make mistakes. Now, do you know the difference between a mistake, or do you know what a mistake actually is? Huh?
Get an accident.
No. Look, what? Who said that? Wow. Look, a mistake is when you do something you shouldn't have done, and you learn from it, and you never do it again. Now, in that sense, are mistakes good for me?
Yes.
If I learn from it and I never do it again, is that good? Now, if you keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over, and you never learn from it, they don't call that a mistake. They call that eat up with the dumbass. How many of y'all keep doing the same shit over and over and over, and you never learn from it? Now, says, I'm gonna make mistakes. Go.
Of living as we clean up the past.
Look up here. I vigorously commence this way of living as I start to clean up the past. So as I start making those amends and nines, I start doing 10. Go.
We have entered the world of the spirit.
Now, what am I trying to have? A little spiritual awakening. So it's telling me I'm entering, just entering. See, I'm fixing to bust the door open. If I do it, they tell me to do it. Madison, go. Effectiveness. Now, when we went over your deal up on the board, right? Did you grow in some understanding and effectiveness? Now, anything God creates, that would be youth. It either grows or it dies. You cannot maintain anything, especially the human life. Now, if you take a 100-foot oak tree, the second it quits growing, you cannot see it with the naked eye, but it automatically starts to die. As long as it's growing, it can never. But the second it quits growing, it starts to die. Now, have you been growing or dying? How the fuck do I know?
Because I'm here again.
Look, how many of y'all, you dying on the vine? You come in here and we get you growing again. And you leave here and think you can stay right there. You can't. You cannot see it yet, but you've already started to, if you're not doing what we say. I'm telling you. Now, how many of y'all have ever looked at the New York skyline? All those skyscrapers. Every year they pump billions, not millions, billions of dollars into them trying to maintain them. Can they? What you think, Matt? What you think? Now, you can't see it with the naked eye, but those buildings, no matter how much money they put in them, are steadily deteriorating. And one day, they're not going to be here. You cannot maintain anything, especially the human life. The way you maintain is through growing. Go.
This is not an overnight matter. It should continue.
What? You should what?
Continue.
There's that damn word again. I don't know what you're getting, but he's trying to tell you something. Now, how many of y'all have gotten out of treatment and you continue doing what we told you every day? Did you, Matt? Did you? I'm not understanding what you think this is. We don't fix people here. We tell you the problem, we give you a solution, and you got to decide, do you want to start living again? And as long as you do what we say, you have a daily reprieve. We don't fix people. Look, the only thing that gets fixed are kitty cats and puppy dogs when you bring them to the vet. We don't fix people here. We give you a design on how to start living again. And it's up to you whether you're going to grasp it and develop it, you're gonna just start dying again. It's up to you. Keep reading.
Continue to watch for.
What?
Continue-
There's that damn word again. I'll be damned. Now, I want you to listen to what she's gonna try to tell you. Continue to what?
Watch for this statement and figure-
Now, look up here. I originally did that in step 4. So when I'm doing 10, I'm re-practicing 4. Go.
When these crop up, we ask God everyone to remove.
Look up here. There's 2 steps they talk about removing shit. 6 and. So when I'm doing 10, I'm re-practicing 4, 6, 7. Go.
With someone immediately.
What step did I do that originally in? 5. So now I'm re-practicing 4, 5, 6, 7. Go.
Make amends quickly if we have harmed anyone.
8 and. So what did I just do in 10? I re-practice all the action steps over and over and over. Now, if you noticed, they went from 4 to 6 and 7 back to, and then 8 and 9. Do you know why they did that? Are you interested in why they did that? Do you know why they did that? Look, when you get to this point, by this time, you should be able to start seeing shit right here and what needs to be removed. And then you need to talk to your sponsor after that. Look, I got 2 guys I sponsor, long-term sobriety. When we first started the little journey, he would call me up and he would start. I go, whoa. Hold on a minute, man. Take you a deep breath. Did you 10-step? No. I said, well, after you do, call me back. Clink. If I have to keep spotting it out to him, I'm not helping him. Now, today, when he calls me, this is what I know. I already saw it. He inventoried it. He saw what needs to really be changed. And then when he calls me, we talk about, does he need to make? That's what real sponsors do. If you have somebody that has to hold your hand and listen to your bullshit all the time, y'all both gonna be drinking.
Good.
Real sponsors don't play that shit. Now, how many of y'all have said you had a sponsor and they bought into all your bullshit? That's not a sponsor. That's another sick individual like you. Now, this right here is the meat of this program. And anybody who's doing this every day, all day, cannot fail. And they never can not. Look, people who do this, in a year from now, people not even gonna recognize you. Not physically, but the way you talk, the way you think, they're gonna go, that ain't the same old gal. But most of y'all get out of here and you say, sober. And nothing else has. You still a selfish, self-centered, inconsiderate, dishonest ass person. You're just. And you think it's miserable being all that way when you're using? Stay the same and get sober. Shit's really miserable then. How many of y'all in here think people don't want to be around you because you using? Get sober and stay the same. They really ain't gonna want to be around your miserable ass. When you sober, You miserable, ain't you? At least when you using, you got a little tolerance to begin with until you get belligerent. Look, I'm telling you now, this won't work if you never get here. To get here, you have to have done this. And to do this, you have had to decide this is what you want more than that. Keep reading.
Then we resolutely turn our thoughts.
Resolutely.
Turn our thoughts to someone we can help.
Keep going.
Love and tolerance is our code.
Now, when you drink it, you got all the love and tolerance and patience in the world, huh? Sober, it evaporates like the booze. Right or wrong? Yeah. Let me ask you something. If somebody asked you if you was an open-minded kind of a person, would you say yes or no? Yeah. As long as it goes along with what you believe. That's very closed-minded, huh? Yeah, I know. Keep reading.
Then we have ceased fighting anything or.
Okay,
anyone.
now, what we fixing to do, we're gonna read the step 10 promises or results. Now, look up here. When y'all were growing up physically, how many of y'all, when you wanted to go somewhere on a weekend, look, when I was growing up, if I wanted to go to a football game, I wanted to go to a movie, I wanted to go do something on the weekend, all through the week, I had some steps I had to follow. I had to cut the grass, I had to take the garbage out, I had to clean my room. And if I took those steps, I got some pretty good results on the weekend. If I didn't take those steps, the weekend came, I got some bad results. Now, you get results by taking action. Now, they're going to tell you the step 10 results, but the only way you can get them is if you take the action. You can't talk this shit, you can't think this shit, and you can't read this shit. It's a program of action. Now, the first one she said, read it again.
Or anyone.
Even. It says I'm going to cease fighting anything or anyone. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty good result for somebody like, how many of y'all, if it ain't this one, is that one you fighting and arguing? If it ain't that one, is that one. If it ain't that one, is that one. If it's not a black one, it's a white one. If it ain't an orange one, it's a purple one. Always. It says I'm going to cease doing that. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty good result for somebody like me. You may not be like me. I don't know. Keep reading.
Seldom be interested in liquor.
Now, it says I'm going to seldom be interested in liquor. Now, when did I get interested in it? When I got irritable, restless, and discontented. I wanted some ease and. So it's telling me I'm going to seldom be interested. So I'm going to seldom be irritable, restless, discontented. And it says, if tempted, I'll recall from it what? Now, if they had a stove up here and they had 4 burners, what's your first name? Charity. If you came up here and you put your hand on that hot flame, what would it do? The shit out of you.
Yeah.
Now, would you do this? Would you go? Because when that thing burnt you, it restored your ass to sanity. Because you wouldn't go. Now, how many times have drugs and alcohol burnt you? And you keep putting your hand on that hot flame?
Yeah.
What they're telling you is, You're gonna look at drugs and alcohol like that stove. And if you see it like that stove, you would never put your hands on it. How many times have drugs and alcohol burnt you and burnt your ass bad? And you keep sticking your hand on that hot ass flame. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty good result for somebody like you. May not be like me. Go.
Sanely,
We react.
sanely, and
Now, if you would have knew me 25 years ago, which none of y'all did, reacting sanely and normally today, for somebody like me, that is a hell of a result. People I used to know way back in the day, somebody will ask somebody, hey, have you seen old Kevin James lately? And they go, yeah, you wouldn't fucking believe what he's doing. And they will tell them and they'll go, you're right, I don't believe that shit. And people who used to know me, who know me now, they go, dude, I don't know what AA is about, but that shit works. How many of y'all in here, if you think you are already sane and normal, which you ain't, that wouldn't be too good of a result for you. Now it says I'm gonna react sanely and normally. Go.
this happened automatically.
This has happened.
This has happened automatically.
Now, God's doing for Kevin what Kevin cannot do for himself. Go.
We see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part.
It just,
It just,
now what just comes? The personality change. Look, when somebody gets down here and they start doing this, it just comes. And most people can't tell you when it came. They just know it did. Most of y'all ain't never gonna fucking come. Because you're gonna get down here and do absolutely nothing. And then you're gonna blame us because your ass got loaded again. And you're back in the penitentiary. Keep reading. How many of y'all in here, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, you fighting it, boy? You fighting it bad. Or you trying to avoid it? Look, if you gotta watch where you go and what you do, you still have an alcoholic mind. You still have the obsession. Now, in early recovery, do you need to sort of watch where you go and what you do? Because this really hadn't had time to kick in. But in 6 months from now, 7 months from now, if you still got to watch where you go and what you do, you missed something. And what your ass missed is all 12 steps. That's what you missed. You ever been in treatment? How many times? Yeah.
My third time.
Yeah. And you've never did what that book said. Because it don't say snort massive amounts of powder. Does it?
No.
Yeah. Keep reading.
So we have been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected.
Look, when somebody like me gets that result, when it occurred to me, I had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. It's like a chill went down my spine. And I went, you know, after everything I've done to God's other children, He placed me in a position of neutrality, safe and, but I made myself ready to be placed. Go. You get low, get loud again. Go.
We have not even sworn off.
Now, how many of y'all, after these sprees, you make all kinds of pledges? I'm not going to use today. Mother, I'm not going to use today. Now, there's only one thing wrong with pledges and swearing off. I broke every damn one of them. Now, I want you to listen to what she's fixing to read. Go.
Instead, the
Now, it just told you, instead of making pledges, the problem's been what's been removed. Now, what step are we on? See, most of y'all never get there. So you really never get the obsession removed. You come over here and go to meetings and live in spiritual ass make-believe, thinking you've got something that you ain't got. Look, I'm telling you, if you did not notice what she just read, something's really wrong with you. The obsession starts to get removed in the 10th step. That's why most of y'all in here don't know what it feels like to have an obsession removed. Because you've never got to this point. Because every time we ask you to do something that makes you uncomfortable, you go, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Well, if you're not going to do this, you're going to do this. So pick your poison.
it does not
Exists for us.
We're neither cocky nor are we afraid.
Now, what that means is, look, I've been accused of being one cocky little person, and I can be. That's not what you're talking about. It says I'm not cocky, nor am I afraid. Now, I don't get cocky about something that kicked my ass. But I'm not afraid either. It's like you just been placed in that position of neutrality. Now, how many of you guys over here ever had your ass kicked in a fight? See, if you haven't, where I come from, you ain't never been in a fight. When I was about 10, this little guy in my neighborhood got a hold of me, and he didn't whip my ass. He kicked it. Now, when I would see him in the neighborhood, there was no lurking notion in the back of my mind that if he and I hooked up again, I'd get taken. It was stone. Now, when I was around him, do you think I was cocky? I was quiet as a church mouse. Now, some other guys in my neighborhood, we would get in fights, and I'd get the best of them one time, and they might get the best of me. They didn't kick my ass. They would mangle me every now and then. So guess what I thought when I would see one of them? I'm going to kick your ass this time. And I would go back far more. How many of y'all, this ain't kicked your ass yet? How many of y'all, it has? Look, don't raise your hand. Because I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time. Now, if it has, you will know. You will know, and you won't even have to think about it. And if it's just mangled you up, you're probably going, well, I don't know. I ain't sure. You ain't sure. You probably ain't doing. Keep reading.
That is our experience.
Now, it says that, sit up, girl, you're going to hurt your posture. You too young to hurt your posture. It says that's our experience. Look, you ain't a part of our yet because you ain't done nothing. The ones of us who used to be like you, we did this, we're doing this. This is what we know. Everything she just read comes true. And most of y'all, when we read these results, you go, I don't know about that. Because you ain't never did the damn work. So you don't know. So shut the hell up if you don't know. And right now, you don't know. If you were getting those results she just read, let's say you were getting, do you think you would have to use?
No.
You? Look, y'all come in here and you say, I don't want to use anymore. We tell you what to do. And you go, I'm not going to do that. Well, okay. What'd you come here for? Did you come here for some more of this action or this action? Okay. What'd you come for? Okay. Besides the sleep, what'd you come for? I guess we busted that bubble. But if you didn't come here to change, it won't work. I'm telling you it won't. Keep reading.
That is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition.
That ain't what it said. It said fit financial condition. Jeb? Look, the main thing for me when my eyes pop open in the morning, I want you to listen to this before you start judging. The most important thing to me when I wake up in the morning is not my daughters. It's not my wife. It's not this job. It's not my cars. The main thing for me when my eyes pop open is to stay in fit spiritual condition. If I do, I get to keep my daughters. I get to keep my wifey food. I get to keep my cars, my dog, this job, my house. How many of y'all? You got the cart before the horse. And you say, if I can get all this together, happy, happy, happy. And you get it, and you ask, still ain't happy. Keep reading.
It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action.
Now, how many of y'all know the big book will tell you if you do A, B, and C, you will get X, Y, and Z. And it tells you if you don't do A, B, and C, you get F. Look, the big book tells you what happens if you do the steps, and it will tell you what happens if you don't. Now, what she just read was a bad result. It says it's easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. Now, laurels mean past accomplishments. But this past February, I celebrated 23 years. What I did yesterday in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous means absolutely nothing. What I'm going to do tomorrow means nothing. It's what I do today. I have the same thing that you have. That is a daily reprieve, contingent on my spiritual condition. Look, I may have a few more days than you, but I got the same thing you got. That is a daily reprieve. Look, how many of y'all get caught up in how long you've been sober? Quantity. Instead of quality. The people who try to put a lot of quantity together never get a lot of quality. So they don't put much quantity together. The people who focus on quality, they put a lot of quantity together. Who in here woke up earlier? And you had to go to bed first. How many of y'all, who in here woke up earlier than 4:20 this morning? What time did you get up? Okay, did you go to bed? Okay, and you got up at what? Anybody earlier than that? She has the longest sobriety in the room. Because what we all have is a daily free. See, how many of y'all get caught up in how long instead of quality? And I'm telling you what a lot of y'all do. Y'all go, well, I went to a meeting last night. I don't think I'm going to go tonight because I'm tired. I've never said this. You know, I smoked a massive amounts of crack last night. I don't think I'm going to smoke none tonight because I'm tired. You ever said that? You ever said that? Look, how many of y'all try to rest on your laurels in here? And you're going to look up one day and you ain't going to have no laurels to rest on. The longer somebody stays in this program, the more willing they have to be to do it. Look, I got to be more willing today to do this than her. What happens if you go back out tomorrow? Do you lose a life? What? That's not, now listen to the question. I said, if you got up today and you started using, what would you lose? Okay, but they already going. Yeah. You know what I would lose? Everything. At 23 years in this program's given me. Like that. How many of y'all, the longer y'all stay sober, the less you're willing to do? When it has to be the complete opposite. Okay.
We are headed for trouble if we do for.
Alcohol.
Is a subtle foe.
Now, how many of y'all know they're talking about this? This is a real subtle thing. Do y'all know the obsession will tell you that you got some shit you ain't got? And the shit you got, it'll tell you you ain't got it. It's cunning, baffling, it's powerful as hell, ain't it? Keep reading.
We are not cured of alcoholism.
Wow. Do you know why you ain't cured of alcoholism? Huh? Do you want to know? Where's your book? See me after class.
Yes, sir.
The reason you're not cured is because there is no cure. So if you can't be cured, I mean, if there is no cure, guess what you can't be? Cured. Now, when I went to treat, the guy told me, he said, hey man, they just came out with a pill yesterday. If you take it, you'll never smoke crack again. I said, give me that bitch. Now, he said, I want you to remember that. When I'm getting ready to leave the inpatient part of the program, doing their little graduation, he goes, hey, I still got that pill. So I don't need no pill. I've got something now. I don't need no pill. Keith, because look, let's just say they did come out with a pill that took this and this away. Everything goes great until one day you can't get the pill. That'd be fucking treacherous, huh? Huh?
Yep.
Guess what I got access to 365 days, 24/7. And besides, a pill hadn't changed me like the steps have. See, how many of y'all always looking for the easier, softer way? I want you to listen to this one. How many of y'all think just going to the meetings when you first get out is the easier, softer way? Come on. Was it? Or was it the harder way? See, what you think is the harder way is actually the easier, softer way. It's crazy to watch one of us and the way we think before we get into recovery. Hurry up. Come right back in here and don't get none on you. Okay, back up here. How many of y'all in here, y'all think ass? Hey, Jeb, I'm up here. How many of y'all think ass backwards? You think this is the hard way when it's actually the easier, softer way. Keep reading. What? A daily reprieve. Wow. Contingent on now maintaining through growing. That's how I maintain this thing. Go.
Every day.
What?
Every day.
You sure don't say Mondays, Wednesdays, and every other Friday and when Jeff wants to?
Every day.
Oh, every day. What?
And we must carry
Now,
the vision.
when we must, they're not giving you suggestions anymore. Get your book, man. They ain't giving you suggestions anymore. They're giving you must. Go.
Carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities.
All my activities. At home, on the job, with people I like, with people I do not want to barbecue with on Sunday. All my affairs. Now, how many of y'all can practice this shit when you're around a bunch of other drunks in a meeting? But when you go home, you can't. If you can't practice this shit with your own family, what makes you think you got something? Keep reading.
Serve thee, thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can
Exercise.
along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will.
Keep going.
Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration.
Let me see your book. I want you to look up here. It says much has already been said. The first 10 steps, much has already been about receiving. You have to put yourself in a position to receive. You can't receive something you've not put yourself in a position to receive. Look, the people that used to be like you and we ain't like you no more, we did the work. We put ourselves in a position to receive. And where I start to receive is in step 11. Keep reading.
Inspiration and direction from him who has all knowledge and power.
Him ain't your boyfriend. Go.
If we have carefully followed direction,
That would be a small miracle for most of y'all.
we have begun to sense the flow of his spirit into us. To some extent, we have become God conscious.
Which step are we in? No, right? We're still in 10. It says to some extent you have become God conscious. And we ain't in 11 yet. Go.
We have begun to develop this vital sixth sense.
Now, close your books. It says we start to develop this vital sixth sense. What's vital mean to you? What's vital mean to you? Very. Like you're screwed without it. Now, it says we start to develop this vital sixth sense. Now, most human beings are born with five senses: sight, taste, hearing, smell, and touch. Now, it talks about a vital sixth sense. It's called God consciousness. Now, most people take these five senses and feed this computer with those five senses. Who knows something about computers in here? Look, I know how to unhook the bitches. Who knows something about computers? What's the most important thing on a computer? The brains. Now, that box that's got all them brains in it, it's only as good as the information that it's fed. Now, this computer you got, how many of y'all feed it with these five senses? And that's it. Now, are these five senses, are they always right? What do you say? What do you say?
Yeah.
Addison? Hey, man. Yeah. Yeah, look. Look. How many of y'all have ever been walking and you see a guy 2 or 3 blocks down the road and you go, ooh, he's cute. And the closer he gets, the uglier he becomes. So is your sight always right? If I blindfolded you, not much would change, but if I did, and I put 50 plates of food in front of you and I said, if you taste every one and get 50 out of 50, I give you $1 million. Could you do it? And you know what? What if I told you to smell them, touch them? How many of y'all sober have thought you heard something and you really didn't?
Right.
So are these senses always right? And how many of y'all been feeding this computer with some very limited information? Now, they telling me there's a vital sixth sense, and that bitch is always right. And that's that little voice that tells me right from when you get ready to do something wrong, which is quite often, and you know it's wrong. I want you to listen to me. And you know it's wrong. Do you hear a little voice say, hey, dumbass, don't do that? Now, if it's, look here, if it's something self really wants to do you block that voice out and do what? Now, when you do what you want to do, down the road, you do what you want to do knowing it's wrong. Do you normally face consequences? When the consequences are hit, does the voice come back louder a second time and say, I told you ass not to do that? Now, what do you call that? Your conscience. I'll prove to you it's not. Every time you heard that first voice say, hey, don't do that, has it always been right? Huh?
Yeah.
So that proves there's no way it's your fucking conscience. Because it's always right. And there's only one entity in this universe that's always right. And that is the fundamental idea of God. Look. Now, if you would take that first voice and start listening to it and put it with these other five senses, could you feed this computer some good shit? How many of y'all are always doing what you want to do when you want to do it and how you want to do it? And when shit hits the fan, you go, I wish I wouldn't have did that. Now, if I can get what I want to do out of the way, how do I do that? When I get what I want to do out of the way, I flow into and I start to develop this. And I improve on it with prayer and that's what we're going to talk about next time y'all see me. All right, close y'all's books up.